look in a mirror, you always see your front. I can see what I look like from the back. So that's what I look like. Oh dear. I also like it sometimes when you're in an elevator and there's two mirrors, and then you go, ooh, and you see yourself from the side, because it's a shock, especially when you got a nose like this. If I turn quickly, maybe I'll catch myself. No. Anyway. Okay, hi.
Hi. So what was the best part of playing as Steph?
What was the best part? Well, there was lots of it, really. I could go on forever with that question. Let me go. I'm sure lots of you are going to ask questions about Jensen and Jared, so I'll save that for later. But I will say this now, and really honestly, it introduced me to a whole, several generations of fans of Supernatural. And I think that's one of the greatest things that I've got from it. And like here today, we're all here today, it's changed my idea of what being an actor in a TV show is like. And it's challenged, I mean, I've been professional for, 40 years, I guess, I've been acting. And it's been amazing to me, since I've been in Supernatural, the fact that I have such an interaction with the people that watch the shows that I'm in. And that's sort of like a huge change in society. And it means that we're much more accessible, I think. And I think there's much more interaction between fans and actors and showrunners too, because I think the showrunners are always listening to the fans. So for me, personally, I think there's been a sea change in the way that shows are run, and my being deaf is a part of that. There's lots of other things too, but that's one of the biggest experiences that I've felt. Okay? Thank you. Thanks. Okie dokie. Hello.
Hi, Julian. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
When you were approached to play Death, and you got the script, did you audition?
So how did I get the role?
What was your reaction? Did you watch the show, or?
Well, I hadn't really, because I was introduced in season 5, and it had been going for quite a while, and it had just missed my radar. I knew it was there, and I'd had friends that had been on it. And you know how it is as an actor, you tend to kind of have a general idea of things, and you plug into stuff. But at the time, of course, it was on a regular TV spot. It wasn't on Netflix or anything. So for some reason, I didn't really follow it, and I kept thinking, I must go back to the beginning to see it, and I never did. Anyway, what happened was that my agent called me and said, you're being asked to put yourself on tape for this show called Supernatural. I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. And she said, they're sending you some sides, put yourself on tape, and we'll send it to Vancouver, which is where it's being shot. And I did that, and the sides that were sent to me were actually the sides of Pestilence. Ooh. Right? And now, I don't think that I was reading for Pestilence, but I think of the 4 Horsemen, that was probably the script that the producers had ready, the writers had got, and they were just sending it out there to see who was around and what interpretations there were. Anyway, I put myself on tape, sent it back, didn't hear anything, and as an actor, you just get on with it, right? You don't kind of stand by the phone, you just think, okay, well, that didn't happen. And then it was a long time later, like several months later, my agent called me and said, you've got this job on Supernatural playing Death. So it was a complete surprise, because I hadn't even read for Death, but obviously I'd read for one of the Horsemen, and they looked at the balance of the characters, I guess. And funnily enough, I was actually really focused on another show. I was shooting feature film at the time, which was way out up north in the country, and it was one of those projects, like love projects that have taken years to figure out. So I was so involved with that, it was almost an afterthought that I came and shot Supernatural. I went direct from this show to Supernatural, and I was kind of taken off balance, really, and so it was a wonderful surprise. So it was a series of strange coincidences, really.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okie dokie. Hello.
Hello.
Just about to see you there. Hi.
For what it's worth, I think death is way too smart to actually be dead.
Thank you.
I think he had a plan.
I blame the writers.
The Reapers seem to be the closest things to family for Death, and they clearly revered him, but Death can form connections. He clearly had some connection to the Winchesters, which of course ended very badly for him. But do you think that Death had felt any actual connection to any of his Reapers?
Of the Reapers? Or to the characters? Specifically Reapers? His Reapers. Yeah, I think so. I think that, and this is all open to interpretation, of course, but the way I play him is, I feel that to make him more effective, it's much better to play him as a sensitive, caring person, because then he's got more power. If he cares about people, or if he has principles, and he's not just, I'm scary and sneaky and bad. You know, that's sort of like one level, and I think he has a lot of levels, and I think that, particularly in his interactions with Dean, he comes across a bit like an uncle. He's a bit disappointed at times, he's a bit stern at times, sometimes he's sarcastic, you know, there's all those qualities of an elder. And that's kind of how I play him, and I think that with his Reapers, I think he's the same kind of person, that he's a figurehead. I think that with the Winchesters, he's more personable, and there's more of he enjoys the human traits of the Winchesters, and I think that Death also, with his appetite, enjoys human frailties, and I think that's, again, a fun thing to play, to offset the idea that I'm very, very powerful. Right, so that's the way I played him, and I think, yeah, and as an actor, when you take on a role, no matter what the role is, you really have to find the person's love, or what makes you like them, right? So I try and find that in Death, and I try and make him believable, and that way I think I care about him, and then you care about him too. So that's it. Thank you. Hello. Don't be shy. It's okay.
In your character, death was way too anticlimactic. How would you prefer to die in a different way?
Oh, if I had a choice? That's a good question. If I had a choice, rather than have a scythe come through my middle, I think I'd rather eat pizza to death. And yeah, I think that's an interesting way to go. I think Death would enjoy that. Maybe that's his second coming. Like, he'll come back and then he'll eat junk food till he dies. Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, still on. I'm just trying to get half of my profile. No, I keep trying. It doesn't work. Hello. Oh, great.
My question is, basically, you say you've been acting for a while. What was your very first paying gig?
Well, my first paying gig was straight out of school. So I chose a route. So I grew up in England, and I grew up in the 60s and 70s when the old style of theatre was kind of disappearing. There's that old style of what they used to call weekly rep, where actors would rehearse for a play for a week, put the play on for a week, and while they were showing the play at night, they would be rehearsing for the play the next week. That was how people learned the business. But the numbers for theatre goers dropped off considerably in the 70s, 60s and 70s. Television was a big competition. So theatre started to reinvent itself, naturally. And I thought, well, I can either go to drama school, where I do straight acting and preparation for a career in the theatre, or what's more likely to happen is that I'm more likely to end up doing something else to supplement my life, because I'm never going to make it a living as an actor. So I went to a university program that kind of looked at all different ways of doing theatre. It had a practical side to it, but I thought this was a better route for myself. And in fact, it was fabulous, and I joined a theatre company straight out of university that went to communities in our region. I went to Exeter University, which is in the southwest of England, and Dartmoor, Exmoor, areas around there desperately needed theatre. But they didn't have traditional theatres. We went to pubs, beaches, seniors' homes, different places, and we put on plays in non-traditional venues, village halls, and to 30 people, 40 people, rather than to big theatres. And we would write the material ourselves, and we would pack the van, load it in, just like a rock and roll band, really. Load up, do a gig, go on to another village, do another gig. So that was my introduction to the professional acting. And I did theatre, I guess, for about 5-6 years only theatre, and then I started to do more and more film and television. So for the last 30 years, I've done more film and TV. But I've also always done theatre, because I'm trained as a theatre actor, and for me, there's a great love of theatre, and there's a great love of, like, you know, what we have today is the interaction. I mean, it's great. There's a thing called a triple action effect. And what it is, it's like when we're live, so I act, you react, and I react to your reaction. It's like boom, 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 boom. And you can't reproduce that. No matter how brilliant the television show is or the film, you can't reproduce that energy, that human energy. And for me, that's very, very exciting. And it's not to do with, oh, well, theatre's a better art form than television. It's nothing to do with that. It's just the primal response and the primal reaction that we have to each other in sharing the same room. So I still love it, and I still do as much as I can, but it's a little bit difficult because scheduling's hard to do theatre, because you tend to have to plan theatre 6 months, a year in advance. Unlike film and TV, which is like, you get a phone call saying, can you be in Atlanta tomorrow? Or can you be in New York tomorrow, or something? So it runs on a very different time frame. It's a very long-winded answer, but there you go. I thought I'd share it. Thanks.
So, hi, I'm just, excuse me while I use your questions to sort of like bounce off and throw things at you, but I figured that's probably the best way to go. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, what is the most ridiculous thing you've ever done on the Supernatural set?
Well, I've been asked that before, and I've also been asked, were you pranked? And it's funny, no. Everybody takes me very seriously. And it's funny, when I arrive on set, and it's the same in a convention too, sometimes I'll arrive and somebody will go, oh my God, he smiled! He smiled! People are amazed because I play death, and I tend to play a lot of bad guys, and they think, God, he's scary. And so really, on set, and because I've tended to come in like 2 days at a time, and just do a very intense couple of scenes and then go away again. So honestly, I haven't done anything really crazy. The only thing that I did do was caught on camera, and that was in the last episode that I did, which was the end of, season 10, when I actually get killed. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but I thought, there's a stage, and there were these amazing images from the Mexican Night of the Dead.
and I got up and I danced in front of them. And somebody took a bunch of photos, and I have actually posted them. They are around. If you look for them. And I was in my death regal costume, and I'm sort of like dancing around. So that's kind of one of the most crazy anarchic things that I've done. But apart from that, very, very straightforward. And I feel, in a way, again, you know, and this is getting back to being serious about my job as an actor. In many ways, I'm a character actor. I have been always, you know, for 40 years, and I will continue to be, hopefully until I'm quite old. And part of what I bring to a project is a primary color. You know, like I will come in and I will give that thing that's required to our leads or to the main arc of the story, and then leave, and they will get on with the show, you know? And there's a sort of an honor in that, as being what some people call a journeyman actor, where you come in and you kind of support what's going on. But I have to come in focused, and I have to deliver the thing that I do. You know, and there are athletes that do the same thing on sports teams. They come in and they deliver a particular sensibility. So that's it. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, this is the dark side. Everybody's shrouded in dark here. That's really the dark side.
Hello,
Stage
Dad.
left. Hello.
Hello, Julian. Sorry.
How are you?
Good.
Good.
So, how are you?
How am I? I'm really good, thank you.
So, a question. What is your opinion about a supernatural episode of Fire Pit? It's based off a video game I'm creating called Zero Horizon, which combines supernatural and Ace Combat.
You'll have to go slowly.
I've never heard about it. What he hasn't.
Wind back and say, what is what? What's the question?
What is your opinion of a supernatural episode with fighter jets in it?
With biker jets.
He has no idea what it is.
Fighter jet.
Have I missed something?
One
No.
question.
No
Why would
idea.
someone with their one question?
Oh, thank you. You see how ignorant I am.
Honey,
I apologize. So I didn't even know. And so it's out?
You know, and the one that people were laughing at was really good.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know. Look, I just found out, actually, that only today somebody posted online. I'm in a film, a really interesting independent film called The Witch. I don't know if any of you know it, but it came out this year, and it's a really good, spooky kind of a thing. And of course, I'm in it. Not much, only a little bit, and actually they cut a lot of our scenes. I played the governor of the village. And my big thing is to banish people. Go! Never darken my doorstep. You know, that kind of thing. That's another of my roles that I do. Go! So I did this in this show, and I found out that there are a bunch of models based on The Witch. And there's goats and farm animals, and then there's the mom and dad, but there's no governor at all, unfortunately. But I'd love there to be one of me, and I always think it's really cool when there's a version of me, and then I can show my mum. You see, I'm famous, Mum. Look, that's me. That thing over there, that blob. You know. Anyway, so that's not a very good answer. I'm sorry, but that's it. Okay, thanks. All right, next.
Hi.
Hello.
So, I really liked, your entrance as Death, and you were very cool and scary. But what was like your favorite scene that you filmed on Supernatural?
Favorite.
Pizza.
I like them all. I really do. I guess the one that most people refer to and that has the most impact. Well, two of them really. In that first episode in season 5, the pizza parlor, which is a pretty amazing scene, right? And as Rich reproduced beautifully today. That intro, I mean, you can't really beat that. But they're two very different things, and I think those two scenes really helped shape my character in the world of Supernatural. And with that opening sequence and that montage, you can't really go wrong with that. It was beautifully shot. And then on top of that, the interior, that really long pizza scene, where there's a lot of exposition, but there's lots of fun going on between Dean and myself. I thought that, you know, that was really good, and I guess that's the one that most people refer to, and I have fondest memories of. But you know, there are so many good ones. Like lots with the hot dog and the pickle chips. Yeah, and the last one too with the scythe. I mean, you know, pretty good, pretty well written, and that's the thing that you, as an actor, you have to surrender to what the writer gives you. And I'm lucky that I've had a lot of really well written scenes, even if I die in them. They're good scenes, so you play them. Okay, thank you. Oh. Hello.
My question is that if Death were to still be alive on the show, do you think he would agree with Mary being brought back from the dead and not mess with her? Or do you think he would be mad and try to kill her again?
I don't know. I think if he was brought back from the dead, he'd find a nice hotel somewhere, and he'd sit and he'd have a glass of beer, and he'd laugh at all the human frailty that was going on around him and say, "You see, I told you so." I don't know. I can't answer your question. A lot of people ask me questions about the show, and I always feel a little embarrassed that I can't really. I think I always have a sort of a professional outside perspective. In a way, I'm almost scared to go into thinking about what I would think about this or that, because I'm like a piece of clay. If the writers shape me in one way, I try and keep that. And I try not to get too gossipy about this or that, because I figure if I have too much knowledge from a different perspective, it dilutes what I actually do. I don't know if that makes sense, but it goes back to being a primary color. If you're a primary color, you have to, it's your job to keep that color and to have that perspective. Sometimes actors drive me a bit crazy where you see them on screen and you can sort of see them almost winking to the camera, that it's like, I'm being really stern here, but really I'm a nice guy. I'm really nice, but really I'm a nice guy. You know, it's that sort of thing. Or like sending you clues. So I tend to kind of stay in a professional capacity. So that's my excuse for not being very knowledgeable. There you go. All right, I'm speeding up here because we're limited for time. I'm going to try and be snappy with my answers.
All right,
Hello.
I loved your character.
Thank you.
Very well. So who's handling things now that Death is dead? Supposedly dead. Did you have a second in command?
I think Lisa's pretty interesting. Billy, Lisa Berry.
Yeah.
I think she's a pretty cool cat. And she sings a good song. So I think that she's got a bit of the spirit in there. So I trust her, and I actually like her. I know Lisa. I've worked with her. Well, not actually worked with her, but I know a lot of her work and a lot of her colleagues. So I think we'd make a kick-ass team, don't you? Yeah. All right, just going quick back and forth here. Hello?
Hi, first of all, I love your accent. Not random.
I don't have an accent.
But we all know that Dean killed Death in the season 10 finale. If Death was to come back to talk to Dean, what would he say to Dean?
If Death came back?
Yeah.
You silly little man. That's why I'm not a writer. You see, I can't. I'm leaving someone else to write my response. Okay.
Hi, thank
Hello.
you so much. Really hope you come back. I think everybody really is desperate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Question, the fast food that was your idea or the writer's idea? Death is so
It's one of those weird coincidences. I like fast food. I come from the land of bad food. I grew up with chip butties, French fries, and Wonder Bread, salt and malt vinegar. You know, so it was a happy coincidence. Hi guys, I'm sorry. You just like hang out there, and I'm just rambling on.
We're interested. We're fans.
Sorry everybody that I didn't talk to, but we've got some very good gents up here to continue on.
So Julian, are you going to come hang out with us tonight at karaoke?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do a Halloween theme.
Halloween theme? Oh.
So.
How appropriate from Death.
Yes.
It's your night to shine.
Yes, yes it is.
Julian Richings, everybody!
Thanks guys. Bye. See you tonight.
More cowbell, right? More cowbell, please. Closer. For the kids at home, who are keeping track, if you do put a cowbell up to your head and have a friend hit it with a stick, it does hurt. It doesn't feel great. But you know what does feel great? Slipping your torso into one of these bad boys. That's right, they're official Friday People shirts. Because you're here on Friday, you have access to these. Saturday people, no thank you. Sunday people, forget it. But Saturday people, you can take home the dignified, classy garb that I provided for you as Friday people. It simply says, it gets right to the point, Robbie. It says, thanks to Dick, I got effed. With the parenthetical explanation, Friday.
Okay, I'm gonna switch over for Audra now.
And it labels you an official Friday person, so.
I'll be right back.
Don't be shy. When you're buying your Loudon Swain merch, and you're